Welcome back to US Mint X Coins, where hidden treasures from around the world sometimes turn ordinary pocket change into collector discoveries that surprise even experienced numismatics experts. And today we are revealing the fascinating story behind a coin that many people ignored for decades, yet collectors across America are now quietly searching for inside old jars, travel souvenirs, inherited coin boxes, and forgotten drawers, because this is the 1987 Sweden 1 Krona coin featuring King Carl XVI Gustaf, a coin once used every day in Sweden but later demonetized and removed from circulation in 2017, which instantly transformed millions of ordinary pieces into historical artifacts with growing collector interest. And the reason this coin is now attracting attention in the United States is not only its European royal portrait, but the surprising fact that certain preserved examples and special varieties are becoming increasingly collectible, especially when they appear in brilliant condition, original mint shine, or unusual, striking variations that most people never notice until an experienced collector points them out. Imagine opening an old travel souvenir envelope from Europe, or checking a relative's inherited coin collection and discovering a small silver-colored coin marked Sverige with the portrait of a European king looking directly toward history and tradition, because that simple coin might now represent more than loose foreign change. It could be a collectible piece connected to Sweden's monetary evolution and royal heritage, and American collectors today are paying attention to international demonetized coins like this one, because once a country removes a denomination from circulation, those coins begin transitioning from everyday money into historical collectibles, especially when collectors realize they are no longer produced or used in shops, banks, or markets. And the 1987 Sweden 1 Krona coin is a perfect example of this transformation from common currency into collectible conversation piece. Back in 1987, Sweden was still using the earlier Krona coin series that featured the royal portrait of King Carl XVI Gustaf, a monarch who became king in 1973 and whose portrait appeared on multiple Swedish coin denominations. During decades of modernization, economic growth, and national stability, and this makes the coin more interesting for collectors because coins with royal portraits represent political continuity, national identity, and cultural storytelling, which are all elements that increase long-term collector interest, especially among American numismatics enthusiasts who enjoy coins that connect history, monarchy, and global economics into a single, small metal artifact that can be held in the palm of the hand. The composition of this coin is copper nickel, which means it was designed for durability rather than precious metal value, yet collectors understand something important that beginners often overlook, because collectible value is not always about silver or gold content. Sometimes the story, rarity, condition, mint quality, and historical context determine whether a coin becomes desirable. And when Sweden officially demonetized the older 1 Krona denomination on June 30th, 2017, millions of coins suddenly became legacy currency, which means they were no longer usable in stores and instead entered the collector marketplace, where condition, scarcity, and variation begin shaping demand, especially outside Sweden, where surviving examples are naturally less common in circulation and therefore more interesting to collectors searching international coin categories. Now here is where the story becomes surprising, because while most circulated 1987 Sweden 1 Krona coins still trade for modest collector values, typically between $1 and several dollars depending on condition, there are examples that attract significantly higher attention when preserved in near mint or uncirculated condition, especially coins that retain original luster, sharp lettering, strong portrait detail, and clean edges without scratches or corrosion. And collectors across America often pay premiums for foreign coins that appear untouched by decades of circulation because such pieces are harder to find than people expect, and when grading quality improves, even a common coin can become a premium collectible. Another reason collectors are quietly searching for this coin is because European demonetized coin series often experience delayed popularity growth in the United States, meaning years after removal from circulation, American collectors begin assembling complete denomination sets from those discontinued designs. And once that happens, demand gradually increases, especially for earlier dates like 1987, which represent older portrait styles, earlier mint production periods, and more authentic historical connection compared to later redesigned versions. And this pattern has already happened with multiple European coin series over the past decades, which explains why experienced collectors never ignore demonetized coins even when beginners assume they are worthless. There is also something visually appealing about the portrait of King Carl XVI Gustaf because royal coinage always carries symbolic authority, tradition, and continuity, which creates strong emotional attraction among collectors who appreciate coins not only as currency, but as miniature historical documents. And when collectors display such coins inside albums alongside coins from other monarchies, including the United Kingdom, Canada, and European royal states, they create collections that tell the story of global leadership through coinage, and this storytelling element increases the long-term desirability of coins like the 1987 Swedish Krona, especially among collectors building international monarchy-themed collections. Another interesting factor that makes this coin worth checking carefully is the possibility of subtle mint differences, including strike strength, alignment, sharpness of lettering, and preservation level, because collectors sometimes discover coins that appear ordinary at first glance but later reveal characteristics that place them in higher collectible categories. And while major error versions are rare, they do exist in many international coin series, which is why professional collectors always recommend inspecting demonetized coins under bright light magnification and clean surfaces to identify details that casual observers might overlook. In the United States today, international coin collecting is growing rapidly, especially among younger collectors who enjoy discovering affordable, entry-level world coins that still carry strong historical significance, and the 1987 Swedish Krona fits perfectly into this category because it offers a combination of European royal portrait history, demonetization status, durable copper nickel construction, and recognizable national symbolism, which together create a coin that feels meaningful, authentic, and collectible without requiring large investment, making it attractive for both beginners and experienced collectors searching overlooked treasures hidden inside ordinary coin storage boxes. Many collectors also enjoy building complete date runs from discontinued coin series, which means they search specific years, including 1987, to complete chronological collections. And whenever collectors begin chasing missing years, prices can slowly increase because availability becomes more limited, especially in higher condition examples, and this gradual demand growth is one of the quiet forces shaping the future collector value of coins like the Swedish Krona series, which explains why experienced numismatics enthusiasts recommend keeping demonetized European coins instead of exchanging or discarding them, since their historical importance continues increasing over time. Another reason this coin attracts attention is its connection to Swedish economic modernization, because the redesign and withdrawal of earlier krona coins reflected a national decision to update currency security, efficiency, and production standards, which means every surviving 1987 example now represents a preserved fragment of Sweden's monetary transition period, and collectors who appreciate economic history recognize that coins removed from circulation often become symbols of change, which increases their storytelling power inside curated coin collections and makes them conversation starters whenever collectors share discoveries with friends, family, or fellow enthusiasts. Collectors in America are especially interested in coins that traveled internationally because such coins often arrive through military service, travel, tourism, inheritance, or exchange collections, which means each coin may carry a personal journey story in addition to its official national history, and the idea that a small Swedish coin minted in 1987 could travel across continents, survive decades of circulation, and finally appear inside an American collection today creates a sense of discovery, adventure, and historical connection that transforms ordinary currency into collectible narrative treasure. If you already own foreign coin jars, inherited coin envelopes, travel keepsakes, or mixed world coin bags, now is the perfect time to check carefully for the Sweden 1 krona coin dated 1987, because identifying even a single well-preserved example can add an interesting European royal piece to your collection, and sometimes collectors discover multiple examples stored together without realizing they belong to a discontinued denomination series, which instantly increases their collector significance, especially when grouped as part of historical currency transitions that shaped modern European coinage systems. Serious collectors also recommend storing such coins safely inside protective holders because preserving original surfaces prevents damage that could reduce future collector appeal, and when coins remain protected from moisture, scratches, fingerprints, and oxidation, they retain their collectible potential much longer, which is why experienced numismatics enthusiasts always treat demonetized coins as future historical collectibles rather than leftover currency, and this mindset often leads to surprising discoveries years later when collector interest expands into overlooked coin categories, just like the Sweden 1 krona series is experiencing today. So before you ignore that small Swedish coin dated 1987 featuring King Carl XVI Gustaf, remember that history sometimes hides inside the simplest objects, and coins once spent casually in everyday transactions can later become collectible reminders of royal heritage, national transitions, and global currency evolution, and collectors across America are increasingly paying attention to demonetized European coins like this one because every surviving example represents a preserved chapter of monetary history waiting to be recognized, appreciated, and possibly valued more strongly in the future, especially when condition originality and collector demand continue moving in the right direction.